All right, so welcome to Wasabi. I don't know what this is called. Wasabi Interviews.
You just make it up on the fly.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So in case you're not aware, whoever's watching, I'm the editor in chief of Wasabi, and I am joined today by Derick Fabian of 7Sketches.
What's up? What's up?
So, if you're a Wasabi reader, you may know him from things like this cover, which was one of our officially our second issue, and this one too, this awesome kabuki styled one. And I also have this shirt right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
So Derek's one of the very first persons that we interviewed. I think before we even started publishing over 2 years ago.
Wow.
So it's always fun to catch up with Derek. Yeah. So how have you been doing? I know things are pretty crazy. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, actually, I mean, despite the situation, I say
Mhm.
I'm doing relatively okay. It's,
Yeah.
been crazy, but yeah, working from home, fortunately, like I'm able to do that.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've been working at home. But yeah, I mean, I've been good. I mean, it's, one of the, I know in the beginning when I first heard all about this thing, I wasn't really taking it that seriously at first,
Yeah.
until I started hearing people say like, toilet paper is running out,
Yeah.
toilet paper is being sold out. I was like, what? Like, okay, this is serious. And then by the time I, took it seriously, like, yeah, toilet paper everywhere was gone, and I thought I only had one roll left. Literally, I only thought I had one roll left on me. I was like, oh my god, I'm screwed. But I'm so lucky. Like I didn't even realize like I bought a whole like a 24 pack or a long time ago, and I just
Yeah.
didn't know where it was until like a few days ago. I just had to simply look up and like, oh wow, I'm very good right now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, toilet paper doesn't get used as much as people seem to think it does.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think
yeah,
for the most part we're okay.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was easy to just kind of go like, oh, that's something outside, but no,
Yeah,
it's affecting all our lives, and thankfully, we're for the most part managing. It seems so. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're doing okay. Have you been able to like produce some art and stuff, and since you're home, or has that been a little tough to concentrate?
I mean, like, yeah, when I when I heard about this whole thing, I thought like, oh, okay, maybe I won't be able to do anything. I'd be stuck at home, so I'd probably
Mhm.
have more time to like, create stuff. But at the same time, the type of job that I have now, like
Mhm.
because in its nature, it's online, so
Mhm.
and we're like pushing to get things online for school and stuff like that. So I've
Yeah.
been actually had quite a bit of work to do, but whenever I can, I still try to like, try to work on like some 7 sketches stuff. So I've been
Mhm.
working on it a little bit here and there, but oh yeah, I've been pretty busy actually with work.
Yeah, yeah. So just for anybody that's unaware, you're a graphic designer, right? That's your day job.
Yeah, it's more or less the official title is instructional designer. Um and so I basically for my job I create online trainings. So it kind of involves a little bit of like animation, illustrations,
Mhm.
narration and what have you. So it's
Oh,
quite
cool.
yeah, it's quite involved actually.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's at least you have something to keep you busy, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, man. Like every morning I wake up, it's, straight to work and then, it's like that for the entire day. And
Yeah.
then yeah, then later at night, then I have like time to like I've been with the help of a lot of my friends too, prior to this whole situation, like I still have like stacks of stickers that I'm cutting now. Like as I'm like, as I'm like talking to friends online, I'm cutting
Yeah.
stickers. And I've been trying here and there too, so
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm excited with like a lot of the stuff that's coming up. So
Mm.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. You're originally from Kauai, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How is your family still over there?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, my mom and dad's still there.
And they're doing okay, I take it.
Yeah, they're doing okay as far as, whenever I talk to them,
Hmm.
they're doing pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yeah.
So speaking of Kauai, actually, I've never been to Kauai. I've been
Oh,
to Maui. I've been to the Big Island, and of course, I live here on Oahu. But
yeah, yeah.
um, could you tell me a little bit something? What was it like growing up in Kauai? Like anything interesting? I know there's chickens over there, but
I was just about to say, like, that's the chicken thing. Like, I took that for granted, like, because I just grew up with it, so I thought it was normal, and like, it
yeah.
didn't even phase me until like I was living here I've been living here for a while now, and so when I
Uh-huh.
went back to Kauai, that's the first thing that I noticed. Like, whoa, we got a heck of a lot of chickens on Kauai. It's crazy. Like, I felt like there's more of a population of chickens than there are people.
It's like New Zealand. There's more sheep than people, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was tripping too. Like when I went back to Kauai one time, I was so surprised that I actually started like taking pictures of the chickens, like as if I'm a tourist or something, like seeing this for the first time. Like this is amazing. Like there's so many chickens all over Kauai. So yeah, definitely the chickens they really stand out.
Uh-huh.
Also, the first thing that I noticed too coming back to Kauai for vacation is how everything is so vibrant, the colors. Like I understand now why they call it the Garden Island. Just
Mhm.
it's so vibrant, it's so pretty, so colorful and so, just I don't know. And then you can see the sky easily too, yeah. So the stars look
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So things
yeah.
like that. So if you're into like nature and what have you, like, Kauai is a good place to be. So
Awesome. Yeah.
so pretty, yeah.
I remember you I think I must have been on your Instagram or your Facebook. I saw that you made like you drew a chicken, right? I think
Yeah.
was that one of the stickers, I think?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
totally was. Yeah. That I've always wanted to draw a rooster for the longest
Uh-huh.
time
Yeah.
because I'm from Kauai.
Yeah.
So I did coincidentally this event over here it was a Filipino event, Pusong Filipinx.
Mhm.
They asked me to do a Filipino inspired design, and that's very Filipino too, yeah, roosters. So the
Sure.
first time I ever drew a rooster was for that event, but then I took that same rooster and then I applied it to like
Mhm.
Kauai events and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
did do a few roosters.
Does that rooster have a name?
Oh, I know people ask me about that. I didn't think. Oh, that's a good question. I'll come up with a name.
All right, cool,
It's
cool.
very
Because I
super
remember
Filipino.
what was because you gave this guy a name, right? What
Oh,
was
did I? What's his name? I forget
um
already.
it was Shaka Buki. I think it was Shaka
Oh,
Buki.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, some of my characters have names. So like even that girl that I drew for the Wasabi cover, like
Oh
she
yeah,
has
yeah.
a name too. Yeah.
She was Chica. Chica.
Yeah, Chica. But you know
Yeah.
what? For her, like I go between Chica and Chieko actually.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Depends
So
on your mood.
yeah, exactly. It just depends, when you ask me. But yeah, I'll
Ah,
think of a name for the rooster for sure.
awesome, awesome. All right. So, of course, people can read more about, how you got into art and all that in this issue. And we do have the digital copies on issue.com/readwasabi. It's issuu.com/readwasabi. But something that I didn't get into in that article was you actually spent some time in Okinawa too, right?
Yeah, I
So
did. I
how
did.
did that come about and how was that?
Well, so I went there twice, yeah. So the
Mhm.
very first time, it was to study Japanese. So when I was in Kauai, I was in my second year of studying Japanese, and the teacher saw how much fun I was having, studying and actually like applying the language to the exchange students. And so she encouraged me to go to Okinawa. So to be honest with you, like I was a little bit hesitant at first because
Yeah.
I thought I my thoughts on Okinawa, I thought it was like very much like Hawaii. So, what's the difference, So I was like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, like my world was back then, like I never really traveled back then. So my world was really small. I'm from Kauai, so for me it's like, I was like, oh, I want to go to the mainland or things like that,
Sure.
like I didn't want to go to another like country like area.
Yeah, yeah.
But a bunch of my friends were excited to go. So I was thinking to myself, like, oh man, if my friends are excited to go, no matter where we are, if we're together, it'll be fun. So I told my teacher, okay, cool, I'm willing to go to Okinawa.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and yeah, like leading up to Okinawa, I was like super nervous because then, I didn't think my Japanese was good at all. So, I was getting nervous about it, but I was like, okay, but I'm with my friends, so it shouldn't be too bad. And
Yeah, yeah,
so we got there, and then the first thing that happens, yeah, I land in Okinawa. I
yeah,
get off the
yeah.
plane. I'm in the airport at a store,
Yeah, yeah.
and the guy comes up to me and starts like rapping in Japanese to me. He's like, oh,
Uh-huh.
this and that, and I'm like just standing there like, what? And so as soon as he finished talking to me, I was like, wakarimasen, and he's like. Then after he's like, wakarimasen, and I was like, oh man, that set the tone for everything. I was like, oh, this is gonna
That's
be a
so
bad,
mean.
I know, this is gonna be a bad trip. And then actually that wasn't in, I think that was in somewhere in mainland Japan. You know, it was like on the way to Okinawa.
Yeah, you have to
But
change flights
yeah,
usually.
exactly. So I was like, oh my gosh, man, I'm like already was nervous about it, and then I get laughed at for like not understanding.
Uh-huh.
But dude, that my experience in Okinawa was, it was the best time ever. I had such
Yeah.
a blast. People there are so nice. I learned a lot super quickly. I mean, I can't say I was good, but much better than I was going there. And
True.
yeah, I mean, it was like one of the fondest memories I have so far.
And that was when you were still in college?
That was, I was still in college at the time. So yeah, so I was there just for 6 weeks. I
Hmm.
flew up there with a bunch of other students from the different UH campuses. So,
Okay.
and then we were paired up with two different schools from Korea. So it was two different schools from Korea plus Hawaii. So all of us three
Interesting.
together studying Japanese at different levels. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And did
And it
you
was,
get to stay in like a dorm or something like that, or what? How
yeah,
did?
yeah. We had like a dorm. We were all staying at the university's dorm nearby, like about a
Mhm.
20-minute walk from the campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you go for the study abroad type program, but then you end up going again, right?
Yeah. So after that, I had so much fun in Okinawa. Like I fell in love with the culture, the people, and the language.
Hmm.
So I wanted to go back, and I signed up through after I graduated from college. Actually, the main reason why I even got my bachelor's degree is
Hmm.
to be able to go back to Japan. So
Right.
prior to getting my bachelor's degree, I was satisfied with my associates because I already had a good paying job as a graphic designer.
Hmm.
But when I heard that you could live and work in Japan through the JET program, and all you needed was a bachelor's in anything.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna go back to school, get my bachelor's, and try to work in Japan. And so I did that, just that. I went back to school, got my bachelor's, and then for JET program, I don't know if you know, they allow you to give them your top three choices where
Right. Yeah.
to teach at. And so my interaction at that moment at that time was between a lot of Okinawan students and Chiba students. So my top two choices were Okinawa, and then my third choice was Chiba.
Yeah.
And then I got placed in Okinawa.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for anybody unaware, the JET program is this program by the Japanese government, right? And they hire like native English speakers around the world to go. They're technically called assistant language teachers, right?
Yeah.
So basically, they help teach English at public schools in Japan. And I also did that for 3 years. So,
Nice,
uh,
nice.
yeah. But so how was it living and working? How long were you there in Okinawa? For a year that time?
Yeah, I was there for just a year, and oh my goodness. Okay, that situation too was, it was a trip. Like
Were
so
you
okay,
like on the main island of Okinawa or off on like
yeah,
some
no,
tiny
I
little?
wasn't on the, yeah. So, and I remember when I went there to study Japanese, I remember that there were like a few outer islands, like
Yeah,
we went to one for an excursion, and it was like super tiny, and there was like literally there wasn't anything on there, like
yeah,
maybe just a, a hotel or what have you. But
yeah.
anyways, I forgot about that. So like I was just all I thought about was mainland Okinawa. So they I remember at the interview, like they asked me, like, you being from Kauai,
Yeah.
you know, because it's such a, it's a small island, it's, laid back, like how do you feel if you were placed in, like on a, small island like that, or what have you? And
Right.
for me, I'm from Kauai, so I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised in Kauai, so it's easy for me to like work on any island. It doesn't matter, how like if it's like really laid back or what have you. I'm a country boy.
Yeah.
And then when they assigned me my I'm gonna be working at, I was like, what is this place? Like I've never even heard of it. And it's
Uh,
they what I when they gave me the assignment, it was Taketomi Cho, but
uh,
I misunderstood. I thought it meant Taketomi Island. So I
Uh-huh.
was doing research for Taketomi Island, and I could barely find any information on Taketomi. I'm like, where am I
Yeah.
going to? Like, there's not much information. It said something like it's so small you can walk around the entire island, like within like half an hour or something like that. I was like,
Wow.
oh, this is super small, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's like it sounded like there's no nightlife. Like the population is just like young kids or like senior citizens. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like this sounds like crazy boring, man. Like
Yeah.
I had like doubts again. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to go. So I was
Yeah.
talking to my boss about it. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle like a situation like that. And my boss at the time, he told me like, Derek, this is such a great opportunity. People are like trying to get in. You're so lucky that you got in. Like you shouldn't take that for granted. And if you don't go on this if you don't give it a try, like I won't hire you back. And I'm like, what? All right. So I mean, he didn't mean it that way, but he was
Yeah.
really like trying to encourage me to go. So in the beginning, when I wasn't so excited about it, after a while, like I started to embrace it. I'm like, okay, actually it might be fun. I might get to learn a lot, and it might be cool to talk to like a lot of older people, and about the past and what have you. And
Yeah.
easy to talk to old people. I think it's they like to tell their stories, and I like to
Definitely.
listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, okay, well, that actually I might like it, and it sounds like it could be peaceful and chill. Good time to reflect on life or what have
Sure.
you. So I actually like changed my way of thinking, and I was actually excited afterwards. And then I found out that I wasn't gonna be living on Taketomi
Mhm.
Island, but on a bigger island called Ishigaki.
Oh,
So
okay.
still, yeah, Ishigaki still a lot more like laid back than Hawaii, Oahu. But
Mhm.
I read things like, oh, there's nightlife there, so there's
Mhm.
like little entertainment places, what have you. But it's
Mhm.
so tiny over there. I don't know if you've been to Ishigaki, but
I have
they
not. I've only been to the main island, so yeah.
okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like really like there's no like they don't have really a shopping. They don't have malls there. They don't have a theater or anything like that. It's the fisherman's life is very like predominant over there. So it's
Yeah.
very very very, very still very chill, but much more exciting than Taketomi. So Taketomi,
Yeah.
like people from Taketomi will go to Ishigaki to go shopping for clothes or just shopping in
Right.
general. Like
So
so
those are
that's
two different islands, and you would go like via ferry?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and then
Mhm.
Taketomi-cho. So when they say Taketomi-cho, so it's so confusing. So there's Taketomi Island, right?
Yeah.
And then there's Taketomi District. And so
Yeah.
the Taketomi District covered basically the majority of the outer islands. So I lived on
Mhm.
Ishigaki, and
Mhm.
then every day I would jump on a ferry and I would go to a different island.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, and the islands like they're really spread out. So the nearest island would take me 20 minutes to
Mhm.
get to by ferry. The
Yeah.
farthest one would be maybe about almost an hour or
Oh
something like that.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was like so every day I was on that ferry, and you know how
Yeah.
like the monsoons, like it's normal over there, typhoons, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes like I would still be on the boat even though like there's a typhoon in the area. So it's not
Wow.
considered serious until it actually like it's hurricane level. So
Yeah.
and like sometimes I'd find myself in the ferry, and it's literally like you look out the little circular window,
Mhm.
and you'd see like the sky, and then you would see nothing but ocean, and then sky again, and then ocean. Like the waves were like that, you
Wow.
know, it was that large, and we'd be like taking off the wave. So
Jeez.
like it was like a roller coaster. Like myself, the tourists, and other locals
Uh-huh.
inside that ferry. Like every time we would jump over like a wave, like you could
Uh-huh.
feel it in your stomach. It was really
Oh my
literally like a
God.
roller coaster. Yeah, and people would like they would scream, they would laugh. It was like a roller coaster ride going to work sometimes.
Jeez. So I guess you don't get seasick so easily?
Well, so yeah, it was good actually. So there's two types of ferries, right? The smaller
Mm.
ones that transport mainly to transport people from island to island.
Yeah.
Then there's that huge one with that it's like 2 stories tall, like
Mm.
you cars can go onto it and everything.
Yeah.
One time I was on an island like really far, the furthest island you could be from where I lived,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Hey Derek, just to let you know, there is a typhoon coming."
Mhm.
And so it's up to you, if you want to stay here or if you want, you can still go home, but you can't go on the smaller one. You would have to take the larger one just to be
Mhm.
safe. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll jump on the large ferry. So I went on that, and it's so like slow. You don't feel the movement very
Mm.
much. It's
Mhm.
very slow moving, and yeah, it takes that much longer to get home because it moves that much slower. And it's so big, and I'm on the second floor too, so you don't really feel like the bounces or whatever.
Right.
But that I don't know why, but for some reason in that situation, I got super sick. Like I was at the top, right? And then I was
Uh-huh.
like, what the heck's going on? Like, what's wrong with my stomach? And then after that, I was like, oh my God, I'm about to puke. So I run downstairs to the bathroom,
Uh-huh.
went there, and like, dude, I just like let it go. And then I
Oh
was
my
like, oh,
goodness.
it was so bad. And then after that, when I was done, when I thought I was done, I went back upstairs, like, nope, I gotta do more. Back downstairs. And like for the entire time, which was like almost like basically most of the majority of the ride, I was there in the toilet puking
Oh
the
man.
whole time. It was
Uh-huh.
so gross, man. Like I actually clogged it and everything.
Oh my god.
So bad. I felt so bad. Like the people had to like there's a men's and women's, like nobody
Yeah.
could go to the men's because I was there the entire time. So they had to go to the women's, the guys, you know.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh man.
so bad, so gross.
Yeah, like usually on ferries and ships, I've never been seasick, but
Yeah.
one time I was on a Cessna,
Okay.
like the little airplane, and that
Oh,
time,
okay.
yeah, like basically like a six-seater or something like that. They're pretty small,
Oh wow.
and yeah, that time I came pretty close, but thankfully, because there's no bathroom there. So
Dude, you'd be so screwed. Oh my gosh.
thankfully nothing happened, but I was feeling pretty bad, like just cold
Dang.
and clammy and sweaty and ugh, yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
so then, like, because something that's very common in with when you're working as an English teacher in jet in Japan, every day or every couple days you end up going to a different school. So like
Yeah.
in one week, how many schools did you go to?
So for me, well, every day was basically a different school.
Mhm.
And
Oh
then
wow.
yeah, and then at that school I would, it would be different classes, yeah.
Mhm.
I think sometimes they would split it up, like maybe on one day, if I, for example, one school I would visit them one day and they would have me teach the lower levels, and then
Mhm.
the next time I came back, which might be like another like anywhere from like a week or a month or so, then I
Mhm.
might teach the upper level. But um yeah, and then it was so like the sizes of the class, like it could be as big as maybe 30 students. That was the most. That was just one class though. That wasn't common. Commonly my students were, I'd say, about 10 students or so.
Mhm.
But it could be anywhere from like 15 students to as little as a class of one student.
Wow.
Yeah, so it would, and then that one time too, there was one class in particular I remember. The entire school only had 3 students.
Mhm.
And then one
The
of the
entire school had three students.
3 students, there were more staff than there were students, so there were only 3 students, dude. I was
Wow.
tripping. I was like, this is crazy. It felt like a ghost town there, yeah. And
Yeah.
then my stay there, like one
And
of the
wait, they must have been different levels too, right? They
yeah,
weren't all the same grade level.
exactly. So one of the students actually, like, she actually had to move, so then it was down to 2 students. And so, and then for that class, I only taught 2 classes. It was one for both of those kids, and they
Yeah.
were like, the kid was like maybe 5 years old or something, and the other student was like, middle school. And
Uh-huh.
then after that, I would have another class for just the middle school,
Yeah.
because he wasn't learning much with the younger one. We are just doing more fun games or what have you. And then when it was just him, it was like a little bit more advanced.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it was crazy. Like it was kind of stressful. Like how do I come up with a lesson plan that's good for both a kindergartner and a middle schooler in the same classroom? Like that's
Jeez.
so
That's
hard. But they're
that's
so cool.
like Little House on the Prairie or something. It's like everybody's
Yeah,
in one little thing.
totally. And like the community, they're so tight, right? Because there's
Yeah.
not much people. Yeah. So, dude, but that it was also too like and the food. I just remember the food being so good. Like everything was just like hand cooked, and
Yeah.
like it was very healthy and it tasted good. I was like, yeah, man, like this is like this first time I've ever like enjoyed school food. It was so good.
Yeah. The school food in Japan is usually like really like home style cooking. Right.
Yeah, man. Like it was like good as like it was like quality, like restaurant quality. Nah, it's better. Like home cooked meal is best to me. And so
Yeah.
they were like feeding me like that when I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. So, like living in a relatively, well, I mean, you taught in a more rural area, but you worked in a, or no, but you lived in a slightly less rural area, but
Yeah, slightly.
still,
Yeah.
compared to like Tokyo or Osaka, pretty rural.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did people like talk to you a lot and say, "Hey, I want to practice my English"? And how did it go
Oh,
with like the community in general?
yeah, you know that so house it's very small, right? That the community and even on the island that I was living, when I don't know how it was for you, but for me, like I got interviewed as soon as I arrived there, I was interviewed and they actually interviewed for the newspaper
Oh
and so they had
wow.
yeah, so they had me on the newspaper and so like I actually like got noticed and I didn't expect that because like I'm Asian, right? So
Yeah.
like I figure like and plus too like in Okinawa, actually I look like some of them actually. Like I actually got mistaken for like a specific islander when I was there. Like some people thought I was from Hateruma because
Uh-huh.
of my skin color and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't think anything of it when they interviewed me. Then I was in the paper. I was like, oh cool, but I didn't think people would recognize me because I don't look like a typical foreigner for
Sure.
them.
Yeah.
But yeah, everywhere I went, like when I went to like the convenience stores, they'd be like, oh, you're that guy from Kauai, right? Or I
Yeah.
saw you in the newspaper, or oh, hey, I remember your face, and I was like, wow, that's crazy, like but
Celebrity.
yeah, yeah, I started to feel like that. I was like, oh, that's a trip, and so yeah, but I mean, like most people when if they didn't know that, like they wouldn't think that I'm, from like I'm a foreigner or anything, so they wouldn't try to say like hello or whatever until they
Yeah.
found out, then they would try to like come up to me and actually a lot of people are not very they're a little like like shy or what have you, so
Sure.
they
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
really like come up to me and start talking in English unless they already were into English to begin with. Yeah,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
I
fun.
did.
So overall, I guess you had a pretty positive experience then.
It was so good. I mean, I love the people over there. Like they're
Mhm.
so super nice, and um, it was really difficult though the language thing because my Japanese wasn't that good, so I couldn't really like get like into deep conversations with them. But for what little Japanese I knew and what little English they knew, like they were so nice to me. Uh, I had so much fun, especially for like with my coworkers for the nomikais.
Yeah.
Um, when they after
The
they
drinking
started,
parties,
yeah,
like
the
after
drinking
work
parties.
kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, those
gathering.
drinking
Yeah.
parties.
Yeah.
And when they had a few in them and they're loosening up, that was the best because then like they never like say a word of English to me, and all of a sudden they're like nonstop whatever English words they know, they would
Yeah. Yeah.
start talking to me excitingly and whatnot. They're inviting me to go fishing with them.
Yeah. That's when they open up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I loved it. I had so much fun. Like they made me laugh so much.
Yeah, yeah. And something interesting about Okinawa is that there's the other level of the whole Uchinaguchi, which is like the language of Okinawa, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
like each island will also have its own dialects too.
You're right. Exactly. You're right. You're totally right. Yeah.
That's even more confusing, right?
I know. I mean, most of the people that live there, I mean, unless they're like the elders, like the
Right.
kind of like Hawaii, right? Like they,
True,
like,
true, true.
yeah. So they didn't. Everyone spoke Japanese over there. Not very many people knew how to speak the Okinawan language,
Right.
the different dialects. And
Mhm.
it's cool. It was interesting because while I was there, this one I met this guy from Yale who was studying all the different languages, specifically in my area,
Mm.
the different islands. So he was going from island to island,
Mhm.
um, trying to like interview people who could still speak that language and whatnot. So
Right.
it's interesting, to hear stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. One of my professors at UH was doing that too, because
oh, cool.
unfortunately, like you said, like a lot of the elders are the only ones that still can speak it.
Yeah,
So it's dying out, right? Those dialects are
exactly,
dying out. So they're trying to
exactly.
document them and kind of
Yeah,
do things a little bit like what was done here in Hawaii with trying to revive Hawaiian, right?
right, right, right. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you've also been involved with the Okinawa Festival too, right? Like I remember you I think did you do some kind of artwork at
I
one of the
did.
recent ones, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. About my first time I did that was two years ago. Yeah, I was actually invited by Sherry. I don't know if you met Sherry before, but she's very involved in the Okinawan community over here.
Mhm.
So she actually reached out to me, and the main reason why she reached out to me is she saw a photo of me painting at at Powell, Hawaii,
Right.
that mural festival.
Yeah.
So she
Like in
saw a
the
picture.
Kakago area, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was painting over there was a photo of me painting over there. My friend took a picture of me while I was painting and I was wearing my Okinawan hat. And so
Oh,
yeah, so she's noticed the shisas on my hat. It's like, oh, who's that guy? Is he Okinawan?
yeah.
So my friend's like, oh no, but he actually, like studied Japanese and he worked and lived in Okinawa. So she reached out to me, and so because of
That's
my interests and my experiences, with Okinawa,
mhm.
she invited me to paint, to do a live painting session over there, and to also sell my merchandise.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was I had such a like a the interaction with the people and the way people there like really embraced my artwork and whatnot.
Mhm.
Like I had such an awesome time over there. It was such a
I
blast.
I think you for the mural was it the art you drew a shisa, right? Was that is that what you drew
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I think
It
I
was a
saw that on Instagram or something. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I did a shisa over there, and yeah, I had so much fun, because before that, I've had a few people reach out to me to do live painting, and they would only give me like an hour or a
Mhm.
few hours to finish a piece.
Yeah.
So I was never able to like, finish it completely because I'm not a fast painter, and I haven't painted since high school, so it took me a while
Mhm.
to get used to it again.
Mhm.
But at the Okinawan Festival, I had 2 entire days to work on it, so
Mhm.
I could actually go into like details and what have you. To take my time.
Mhm.
They Sherry had a bunch of people like manning my booth for me, so I could just concentrate on the painting, and I had so much fun. And I also felt like a celebrity there too, because as I'm painting and I'm so like zoned in on my artwork that I'm not even like aware of the crowd. And then once
Yeah.
in a great while, like I'll look back or somebody will like tap my shoulder to like get my attention, and I would look back and there'd be a line of people waiting for me to get a signature or
Oh,
because
that's so cool.
yeah, I was selling like my prints up at the booth, and then they would take
Mhm.
their prints, come up to me, and get it signed and take a picture with me. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
an amazing experience. Like I really appreciated how people really like enjoyed my artwork.
Oh, that's nice. So, what did you use to paint? Like, cause I think usually you work digitally, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
normally
So,
work
what did you
digitally. Yeah.
actually use to draw on? Like, was it like a big canvas or something? Like, what was it?
Yeah, it was like a 2 by 3 feet canvas,
Mm,
and I was using acrylic
mm,
paints.
mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool.
So
And
much fun.
then, have you did you do powwow this past year?
I did.
Oh, okay. Where exactly is the mural? This one.
Yeah, the mural is it's right actually it's across from my very first mural 2 years ago. So it's right next to Hank's Hot Dog, which is right behind Highway Inn. So it's on
Oh,
Coral
okay.
Street. Yeah. So right
Cool,
next
cool.
to Hank's Hot Dog, there's this like little squarish wall. I mean it's quite high, like maybe 20 feet high or so,
Mhm,
10 foot wide.
mhm.
So it's right over there. I had so much fun too with that one. So much fun.
What's the theme of that one? What
Yeah,
did you do
so
with that one?
so with that one, so this one for the first two walls I could do whatever I wanted, yeah,
Mhm,
because like it the well, okay, anyways, yeah, I could do any. So but then this year, because the wall was on Kamehameha School's property, which is actually coincidentally who I work for now.
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So because it was on Kamehameha School's property, like Kamehameha wanted whoever painted on their property, they wanted to have at least like a Hawaii theme to it or what have
Mhm,
you. And so for me, like, and I was like, when they, I wasn't aware of that until like kind of like last minute. So prior to that, I already like had come up with this draft that was more like hip hop oriented. So
yeah.
when I was told that I had to like do something Hawaiian, I didn't realize that until like last minute. So like, oh
Oh.
gosh, I don't have much time to come up with a new design. So
Uh-huh.
I just pulled from whatever I've already drawn in the past, like to see
Yeah.
what I have that's how more like Hawaii oriented. And
Yeah.
so one of my choices was to go with the pineapple Totoro.
Oh
And
yeah, I love that
yeah,
image.
oh
Yeah,
thank
it's a
yeah.
Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro, and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
looks like a
yeah.
pineapple.
Yeah.
And we we actually used that image for a concept cover for Wasabi, and I loved it. But
Oh,
of course,
cool.
we didn't end up. Yeah, maybe I'll post it
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
So,
yeah,
oh, that's cool, man. So
yeah.
yeah, so that was one of my ideas, and then I also did a cat bus. And what I did is I took the bus, Hawaii's city bus
Yeah.
design, and I superimposed it onto the cat bus. So I was like, okay, I'll go with this. I don't know if they're gonna like. I didn't think Kamehameha schools would accept it at first because I was worried about it. Because when I seen the past murals, they're very like like it didn't look like cartoony the way my stuff. My stuff was like it's very cartoony, and it's also like it's based on an established character pop culture.
Mhm.
So because I was worried that they wouldn't accept that, I also had like a backup plan, which was more like um not my style at all. Like I drew
Mhm.
two people doing the traditional Hawaiian greeting, which is called the honi,
Mhm.
when they go nose to nose and then they
Oh yeah.
breathe in. Yes,
Mhm.
I created that scene, and so but it was so not my style, and just the way I drew it, I was just overthinking it and being a little too extra about it.
Mhm.
But that was my backup. So I presented Powwow with the Totoro, and
Mhm.
they loved it right off the bat. So
Oh,
then they
that's great.
presented that. Yes, I was super stoked about that. Then
Yeah.
they showed it to Kamehameha schools, and then they actually approved it. So I was like, yes, I get
Oh.
to actually, draw this piece. And
Mhm.
it's one of my most popular designs that I've done so far.
Mhm.
So it was cool for me to like be able to put that image. Like I first had it as a sticker, then I had it as a shirt, then as an
Yeah.
enamel pin. Now I get to make it, like a full-blown scale, like on a wall,
Yeah. Yeah.
mural. So I was
Awesome.
super excited, and I was excited because I know a lot of my customers like really like enjoy that piece, but I didn't
Mhm.
know how people would take it overall, beyond that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dude, like while I was painting, like right off the bat, like people were like loving it. Like I just could hear people like, "Hey, kawaii, Totoro, pineapple," and like local people too. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's Totoro, that's crazy," and things like that. So yeah, I
Mhm.
was so happy it worked out that way. I had no intentions of painting like a mural just for Totoro and the cab bus, but
Yeah.
I kind of under the circumstances, like I was kind of like pushed in that direction like last minute, and I'm glad I did because just the reception to it is amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So after things calm down and we can all go out, we should all go check out the
Yeah,
mural.
yeah, check it
Yeah.
out, check it out. Yeah, if you do, like, please like take selfies with it and tag me in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So where can they tag you? What are
Oh
your
yeah.
social media?
So if you could tag me at 7 sketches, so the number 7 and
Mhm.
sketches, so 7 sketches on Instagram and even Facebook and what have you. But I'm very active on Instagram.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. So can people like order your stuff online?
That's interesting that you bring that up. I'm
Yeah.
actually in the middle of actually like building a website with
Oh,
some
awesome.
of my friends. Yeah, so once that's up and running, then yeah, people will be able to like order from me. But in the meantime, if people did want to order,
Mhm.
people would just have to contact me through my social media, and then
Mhm.
I would direct them on how to like order from me. I have a few like random sites here and there, or they can
Mhm.
order things directly through me, and I'll like send it out to them,
Right.
and
Right.
all of that takes place through DMs and social media.
Right, right, right. Yeah. So I mean, we've mentioned it a couple times, but Derek has stickers
Yeah,
and canvas prints, I think, right? You have
yeah,
like some small canvas prints,
yeah.
t-shirts.
Hmm.
Usually you're at like all kinds of festivals and like
Right.
Kauai-Con and probably what I've seen you at Honolulu Festival.
Yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
else do you usually go to?
Also at I haven't done it in a while, but Art and Flea was the actually
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the main ones that I was, like vending at.
Hmm.
And then the Comic Cons, there's two different ones. Comic Con Honolulu and Amazing
Right,
Comic Con Aloha.
right,
Um,
right, right.
yeah. And I used
Yeah,
to do like craft fairs too, like a few school craft fairs and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. What was it? We were at MiniCon at
Oh,
McCully
right.
Public Library. Yeah, you were there too.
Yeah.
I was there. So I'm sure when things calm down again, Derek will, be around. But in the meantime, you can follow him on social media,
Yeah.
and hopefully, the website will be up soon, or you can direct message him to check out his stuff to buy, some stickers or whatever if you're so interested. And I highly recommend it. This T-shirt, for example, that he did the artwork, like just a couple of months ago. Somebody was already calling and saying, "Oh, I saw this. I found my old issue. Do you still have any? I want some." Because we did a
Oh,
giveaway for these and we
oh,
made
yeah.
just a very small number, but people love your artwork. People see it,
Oh,
they react, and they still want your stuff, even though, like
oh, I
they see
really
it like from
appreciate
2 years ago and they want, oh, I want it. So
that. That's awesome. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that people are into it like that.
Yeah. No, I like I said, you were one of the very first people we interviewed when I found out about you through a bus driver that we
Yeah, I was
know,
gonna like mention him. Yeah.
Rex. Lovely,
Yes,
lovely
shout
Rex.
out to Rex.
I love Rex.
Yeah, he's such an awesome dude. I love that guy.
Yeah, and he told me about your artwork before we had even started publishing, and I went to, I don't know if it was your Instagram or your Facebook, and started looking at your stuff, and I said, I love your stuff.
Oh,
I
nice.
I I
Thank you.
talked to the publisher, said I want this guy to do a cover for us, and we talked about it. And Derick was so nice, and we've worked with him again, and I would love to work with him again in the future. So
Heck yeah, dude. Let me know, man. Always
yeah.
down to do something for Wasabi.
Awesome. All right, so go check out 7Sketches. We'll leave it at that, and hopefully I'll be back with some other awesome person very soon. So stay tuned. All right. Bye.